Hi, my name's Dee and welcome to Sunchild Tarot. Now this is a general reading for those born under the sign of the Ox. So I'm looking at Chinese Zodiac this month. I've already done my Western Zodiac. I've also started a series of Western and Chinese combinations such as Pisces Ox, which I've already done. Aries Ox or Libra Ox. If you want any of those, comment down below and then I'll put them on my list because I've still got another 138 to go, so I'm not doing them in any particular order. Now, being a general reading rules apply as ever, so roles can be reversed. Timing is not absolute. If you're used to watching tarot readings, you know exactly what I'm saying here. Bit of housekeeping, there is a link down below for, well, one for your free birth chart, but that's irrelevant for this one. And for the Facebook group, that is, I post these videos, obviously, and the astrology videos that I'm watching, and some of the other videos that I pick up, the odd documentary, other readers. So it's well worth a look. Hopefully I won't flood your inbox, but it's always worth checking sort of around the start of the month and at the start of the week, where the astrologers are releasing all their forecasts and interpretations for the week. Yeah, that's it. If you like the video, click like. Please press subscribe on your way down to commenting. And with no further ado, because I can't think of how else to say my waffle, it's normally a lot longer, let me bring up the cards. And of course the computer doesn't listen to me. Here we go. Right, so today I have used my, well, I don't know what they're called. I could just call them my massive tarot. I'm clarifying everything with the Tarot of the New Visions, which, as you can tell by the Magician at the bottom of the deck, oh, wrong camera, is all the Rider-Waite cards from behind. I'm using the In-Between Tarot, which is still a new one for me. I'm just learning it at the moment. But that's not, for instance, it says the moon here, but it's actually the space between the moon and the sun. Queen of Wands is the space between the Queen and the King. And an ordinary Rider-Waite, double deck, because that's the only way reversed cards will work in my head. I've got one deck upright or dignified and the other deck reversed, all mixed together. I Ching, Tao Te Ching, and various oracle cards. Now, I finally worked out, if you watched the shuffle video at the start, I finally worked out, oh, I know how changing lines work now with these cards, when two flew out rather than one. So we start with Fire above Mountain and end up with Lake above Mountain. So there's a storm coming up, but to a certain extent, it's a storm in a teacup. The mountain is unharmed by the fire. The mountain still stands after the fire has been and gone. But the lake, that's another matter. I'll read the lake one out. It was 31, yeah. The mountain is strong and stable, but can be hard or harsh. The lake is a softer force than the mountain, but gains strength from it. Stillness and gentle movement attract and complement each other. Their influence enhancing the best in both. This is the best path of wooing, to improve each other through mutual attraction. Now, there is, I'll get onto that with these. There is some form of wish fulfillment coming on for you. Some form of wish fulfillment, but it necessitates you coming to a different place. So there's two vibes here. There is wish fulfillment coming on that takes you to a better place, but I'm believing that that is more spiritually, mentally, emotionally. But there is also some wish fulfillment that is offered that is drawing you to a better place, but you are soon confronted with the, how do I do this? Do I really want to do this? Now, what I got from the Hanged Man to Death is like, there is confusion, but then the confusion is slowly clearing up. And we see that here with Hangman to Death. So you've got the confusion of the hangman that's slowly being burnt away, being transformed. We have the Sun to Judgment on the bottom of the deck, which says the angels are awakening, and it's that step towards transformation. So not transformation yet, but one step further, and trust your intuition in the process, because there's some more painful stuff to go through. It looks like that there is an element where you have been, or you are being, left to your own devices, left alone, left to rest, and that is playing on your mind. That is really causing some nightmares, and you're really, you gain clarity over what it is that you have lost. But let's go back to this hangman death. Hangman death. So yes, that's what it says in here, release of the ego. So release of the ego is never a painless progress, and we see process, and we see this here. We've got the Three of Swords right beneath. So there is some wish fulfillment that comes in, wanting to take you to a better place, with a great dream that makes you go, yeah, I like this dream, I can nurture this dream, but oh, and then in the act of receiving that wish fulfillment, layers of yourself are stripped away, forcing you into a time of isolation where you are left to face all of your demons. And clarity comes when you are brought face to face with what it is that you have lost in gaining this wish fulfillment. And bear in mind that the world is changing like that at the moment around you, and not necessarily for the better. But I do get here with the Queen of Wands, that, and Queen of Wands here, by the way, that you are protected from this. But I also feel that you need to be looking after something, need to be nurturing something, because the pain that clarity brings you, and that death of the ego, and that ending of confusion where you're forced to see what is lost. But bear in mind, you are going towards a better place, you are going towards evolution, and you are going towards your own power with the Magician on the bottom of this clarifying deck of the new visions. But Five of Cups and Five of Cups right in the center of the deck. This is a time for loss. This is a time for knowing the value of what it is that you have lost, and knowing the value of what actually remains. Because remember, the message of the Five of Cups is, look, you haven't lost everything. There's still two cups upright. But once you go through all this process, this wish fulfillment and getting everything that you wanted, even if it's briefly, leads you to a far better place. It leads you to that stability of the lake on the mountain, that calm emotion. Because let's face it, a lake on the mountain ain't going to be tidal. It leads you to that calm emotion that you can dive in as and when you want, because the Ace of Cups, there's either love coming, because the star is true wish manifestation, wish granting, but it's also that element of wisdom coming in and causing growth. Look, I've not seen that before, but she's actually watering a little sapling there. Which I don't think she does in other decks. It's just pouring on the floor. But she is connecting your growth with your loss. And this is a new, where you end up through this is beautiful. The star with the Ace of Cups. Things will move fast, and you will be looking for some form of assistance while you are concentrating on your project and concentrating on your new direction. Now, I do want to say that initially, not going to happen. That assistance is not coming, because there's still things that you need to be aware of, and the time is not now for your ships to actually come in. You are going to be blocked on moving forward for a while, but that is to let all this transformation really sink in and really do a Vileda super mop and get into all the nooks and crannies. But notice here on the bottom we have that divine pairing, the Queen of Wands to the King of Wands. So you are protected, and you will be manifesting in the future. And it does look like there is some form of joining together with that divine pairing. So whether this is a love story, you know, you could say that you're going to have a brief affair with, remember Venus is still retrograde, not for long though. You might be having a brief affair that seems like it's wonderful, but to take advantage of it, you've got to go to somewhere new. And that means you've either got to lose what you have around you right now, or you've got to lose this wish fulfillment. But there is still some wish fulfillment coming in with this star, even if it's you ending up having the clarity of what still remains around you and going, you know, my wishes have already been fulfilled because I'm where I need to be. But either way, there is a mourning process here, a grieving process of either the loss of the instant wish fulfillment that comes in, or the loss of your old environment. But one thing that you need to watch for during this period is to remain true to your word and to remain trusting your intuition. From the Tao Te Ching, I drew verse number 79, half the agreement. When peace is made between two great rivals, some resentment will surely remain. How can this be considered a good deed? That is why the sage keeps his half of the agreement, but does not require the debt from the other party. This is how a man with virtue takes charge of the agreement. But a man without virtue requires the other to fulfill his obligation, like a wheel running in a rut. The Tao of heaven shows no favouritism. It is always on the side of good men. So if you give your word, you keep your word. That is what it is saying here. So with the stress and nightmares, which are fortunately when you're on your own, so you're not necessarily going to be giving your word to anybody during that period, but do not be driven by that stress and nightmares, because somewhere here there is loss, but you end up in a better place. Now, I'm tempted to say that with that wish fulfillment, you do move on to the new pastures. Like I say, that there's definitely moving on emotionally, but if it's a physical move, you end up with new supportive connections. So that's a good thing. Or maybe you're ending up with a new supportive connections, even if you stay where you are, which will help give value to that which has caused you pain so far. And we have two cards from the Enchanted Map. We have the Sad Embrace, which rather speaks of everything that I was saying here, that death of the ego, the painful process, the wish fulfillment that could be snatched away, and the Magic Prayer, which is pretty much keep your eyes on the prize, spirit is listening. So to gain the cooperation of spirit or the endorsement of spirit, you have to do one thing, and that is be true to yourself. Follow your intuition, keep your word. As an ox, you are known for keeping your word anyway. But trust your intuition and be that lake. Be aware that a lake on a mountain isn't necessarily shallow. So, you know, there's hidden depths to come yet. You are going for a journey into the depths for a while, but there's more to come when everything calms down. What you're facing here with this Wheel of Fortune, to a certain extent, is a bit of a storm in the teacup, but there is a death of ego coming. So, you know, it will be a painful process and you'll be all the better for it. Look at this Sun to Judgment card, the Awakening of the Angels. Okay, so if that means anything to you, Ox, which I doubt it will yet, comment down below. Like I say, please press the like and subscribe buttons on your way past. I'm only a baby channel, 8 months old, I think. And your next readings to come out will be your full moon, and then the day after that, assuming I get them all done on time, we have the moon conjuncting the galactic center. So I'll be doing another one of my lunar galactic downloads, but this time it's under the influence of a full moon and conjunct the great attractor, a force that is pulling galaxies after it. So yeah, look it up, just type in the great attractor. So those readings should be doozies. Cheers.